And after a bit of a delay, we are back. Welcome to the Hot Lap. Welcome back. And today's headlines are, well, Audi reconfirming its commitment to Formula One. Red Bull looking even stronger for next year, according to a former team boss. We have Alpha Tauri. No new name yet, despite the FIA giving out the list of the 2024 entries, and also an Aston Martin name update. Looking onward to 2024, this is the Hot Lap. So today's show, looking onward to that 2024. Let's get into Audi, our first news story of the day. So the new CEO has basically reaffirmed Audi's commitment to 2026. And as you know, the Alfa Romeo team is no more. It's going to be called something like Sauber Engineering. We'll get into that, I imagine, over the next few days, or something of that sort, being named Audi in 2026. Now, Audi's new CEO has reaffirmed the manufacturer's plan to enter F1 in 2026 in his first interview since taking the job, to quash all that speculation that happened a couple of months ago that they were considering backing out. This is on motorsport.com by Matt Q. There you go. There's the wonderful Audi CEO. Audi goes Formula One. So, long-serving Volkswagen Group manager and strategist. I'm going to get the name wrong, but I believe it's Gernot Dollner. Sorry, Gernot. I'm so sorry. But anyway, he took to the top spot at Audi in September after former CEO Markus Duesman, who obviously led the marks. He was the leader of bringing Audi to F1 with that takeover of Sauber, and essentially deciding to construct its own power unit. Now, as we know, Audi's kept pretty quiet about its F1 program in this bid to overlap this ongoing Sauber sponsor via Alfa Romeo, who are no longer their sponsors, but there seems to be this void now between 2024 and 2026. There are reports that its engine build was months behind the rivals before speculation emerged that Audi was considering backing out altogether. However, these rumours, which are believed to have come from within Audi and the VW group, went unchallenged, according to motorsport.com. But in his first interview since taking charge, Dorna has moved to confirm this commitment. Now, speaking to German business publication Handelsblatt, he said there is a clear decision from the board management and the supervisory boards of Audi and Volkswagen that Audi will enter F1 in 2026. The plan is in place. Now, Sauber team principal Alessandro Aluni Bravi has strongly denied, obviously, throughout that Audi's interest is wavering. He explained why there is a lack of communication is simple. We are Alfa Romeo F1 team. So at the time, as of up until the end of this year, they are the Alfa Romeo F1 team. And he said, so until the end of the year, we have certain limitations in communicating about the team, about the future, about the involvement of Audi, and we fully respect Alfa Romeo for this. He went on to say, we don't want to make any kind of announcement or more than what is strictly related to the race and the championship. The commitment, as I said, is there. Now, in his interview with Handelsblatt, Donner did allude to slow decision making under the former leadership structure. He continued, we used to have a very complex landscape of committees. He went on to say, that is why we have now abolished an entire level of committees below the executive board. In short, we are now faster, and all important decisions are once again made by the entire executive board team. The minute you start hearing executive board teams, though, it kind of brings you back to Toyota, or even worse, Jaguar, obviously owned by Ford. There was that incredible moment reported where the head of Ford was like, who is this Eddie Irvine, and why is he the highest paid person within the Ford company, i.e. their star driver. So, I mean, there we go. That's essentially Audi's commitment to Formula One. Let's get on to our next story. Red Bull looking even stronger for next year. This is going to depress a few people that aren't Red Bull fans. So, news from England will worry Red Bull's rivals, say team boss. This is from planetf1.com. Former team boss Minardi has said news from England will be a concern for Red Bull's rivals after hearing the RB20 will be even better than this year's all-conquering RB19. A lot of people, I think, are crying into their tea at the moment hearing that. I read that. I was one of the criers wanting a competitive 2024. But anyway, setting new records in last year. This is a 22. Red Bull clinched the clinched the double in the first year of Formula One's new ground effect aerodynamic rules. Now, building on this record, we had 15 wins in 2022. Max claimed 19 out of 22 this past season. 19. It's still amazing to hear, isn't it? Mr. Minardi, as in the former Minardi team owner / boss, fears another Red Bull rampage. What a lovely piece of alliteration. So the Grand Prix Singapore was the only race that Red Bull didn't win. Yes, it was Carlos Sainz that saved us from an absolute roasting from Red Bull, but the other 21 going to the Red Bull outfit. So romping from one record to another, with the most successful wins for a team and then for a driver, Red Bull again wrapped up the double with Verstappen's tally in the driving standards comfortably ahead of pretty much anyone else, and that includes Perez. Now, while Red Bull's rivals are hoping 2024 will be a closer fight, former team owner Minardi has his doubts. He said, "Everyone says yes, they will be," the Italian told Gazzetta dello Sport, "but I would wait a while to say it. They have an advantage that I think is difficult to fill at the moment, because by carefully analysing the 2023 races," he says, "I got the idea that Verstappen never allowed us to see the maximum of his possibilities, and this doesn't give us much hope. And then I get the news from England that their 2024 car is better." He kind of has a point, because Hamilton came out not too long ago, I think this is after the end of the season, and he noted that he believes Verstappen was cruising to a lot of his victories, and it did kind of, I can't help but feel it did seem the case when you look at his fastest lap and then some of the other laps he was doing. The car looked very, very under control, because it is the best car. But when you start pushing car, any car is going to start moving around when you absolutely push it to the maximum. And you have to wonder how much of an advantage they had. If you remember the Mercedes days, there were all those rumours in 2014 that they did turn down those engines to try and stop, obviously, a potential rule change. Hasn't Red Bull done the same? If they have, I tell you what, it's pretty depressing. But let's get into naming. And surprise F1 team announces 2024 season change. Yes, this is not the Alpha Tauri though. This is going to be the Aston Martin name update. So, in the coming 2024 season, Alonso and Stroll are set to race under the banner of the Aston Martin Aramco Formula One, with Cognizant no longer title sponsors for the team. That's a mouthful, isn't it? This is from GP Fans. Now, the announcement states that a 5-year contract extension with the Saudi Arabian oil powerhouse Aramco has been struck. Aston Martin initiated the trend of the dual title sponsors in 2021, proudly displaying both Aramco and Cognizant as prominent naming partners. Now, the Silverstone-based outfit, it says, has elevated its alliance with Aramco. So, Aston Martin has said that Aramco is going to play this pivotal role in delivering cutting-edge technology and offering fuels and lubricants to the team going forward. Now, this collaboration is said to be significant because it aligns with a fresh partnership with a certain Honda engine when the rules change in 2026. And Stroll has come out and said, "We share an ambition," Stroll Senior. Now, away from the track, Aston Martin and Aramco are said to be extending their endeavours to joining forces on science and technology. Lawrence Stroll has said, "We are proud to continue and strengthen our successful partnership with Aramco. We already enjoy an important strategic relationship, and their support as our title partner for the next 5 years is a clear demonstration of our shared ambition." There we go. That's the tweet from Aston Martin there, advertised by GP Fans. And Stroll went on to say, "Since 22, where they've played a key role in Aston Martin's F1 journey, and their contribution will only become more significant in the years ahead. We are working together on several key initiatives, including the development of advanced fuels for 2026, when we begin our Honda Works Power Unit partnership." And that's interesting. They're talking obviously about fuels and the sustainability of Formula One. Some people have even come out. I can't remember too many names. That it was significant at the time. Sorry, but they've kind of mentioned that maybe the combustible type engines will continue, and the future is not necessarily electric. The future is sustainable fuels working with a combustion engine, which is really interesting. Does that mean we can have V8s and V10s back? Who knows? So let's get into that other story then. And that's obviously the Alpha Tauri team. This is from planetf1.com. And Alpha Tauri's new identity for the 2024 season still remains shrouded in mystery, with only a slight change present on the FIA's list, as reported by Planet F1. And it said, as it stands, the team will be known as Scuderia Alpha Tauri RB next year, but that may be subject to change, as a lot of us know. Racing Bulls was a rumour. That, you know, another fashion company, potentially Hugo Boss was another rumour. Now, it's not uncommon for teams to announce new title partners at these pre-season car launch events, kind of like early next year, late January, early February, I imagine, with teams occasionally agreeing with the FIA to wait on revealing a name. And it emerged during the 23 campaign that Red Bull was seeking a new name for their B team, having changed the name from Toro Rosso to Alpha Tauri for the 2020 season. Now, clothing giants Hugo Boss and Adidas have both been heavily linked to be the main sponsors of the Alpha Tauri team. But Red Bull have now settled on a name to bring the Faenza-based outfit with a brand name slightly closer in style to their parent team. That's going to be interesting. So, Daniel Ricciardo and Yuki Tsunoda, as we know, they're going to continue to drive after the Red Bull Junior squad finished a disappointing 8th, just 3 points behind Williams. However, what's interesting is the sponsors are really interested in Daniel Ricciardo being there. And I think his popularity is, well, I don't think it saved him a seat because I think he drove okay, but it's definitely going to help, isn't it? And having been at the foot of the championship much of the season, these upgrades in Singapore and Austin, it transformed the car with the team scoring in 5 of their final 8 races to close that gap to Williams for P7. And Yuki Tsunoda at one point led the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and had he finished a few places higher, they would have finished ahead of Williams. So it's going to be interesting because there's all these rumours that the AlphaTauri team are going to take as much technology as they can from Red Bull. What's going to be not controversial, but what will be interesting is if they end up being like the second or third fastest team, expect heavy protests because of the other teams are going to be like, oh my God, it's so unfair, even if it's in the rules. So you can make an argument, well, then they should have built a better car. Absolutely they should have, but it's not going to stop teams from potentially protesting. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. If you did like it, please subscribe, like, share us. We are back. Apologies. I'm so sorry about the delay we had. I was a bit under the weather there for a week, but we are back and we'll speak to you soon. Thank you very much.